Good morning. This is Deborah Tutnauer and Greg Clowminzer, and today we are back talking about business coaching. If you've been following us at all, we both do business coaching and personal coaching for business people. And one of the things we were talking about this week is a lot of people don't really have a handle on what coaching is for a business person. Okay, people understand life coaching to a sense. People certainly understand sports coaching. But business, like, what does a business coach do? How would a business coach help me? What would I need to do if I hired a business coach? What would be better? What would be harder? What is it really all about? And so we thought we would take this time today and maybe in subsequent Hangouts as well to really dig deep so that you can almost be like a fly in the wall over time and get a feel for what business coaching is all about. Is coaching something that would benefit you in your business or even in your personal life so it can impact your business? And so I'd like to introduce my friend Greg Clowminzer. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great, Deborah. Thank you. Thank you for doing this and setting it up. It's just it's such a pleasure to partner with you on these Hangouts. I really enjoy them. I find it hard to sleep the night before. I get so excited.
Well, okay then.
So let's see here. So many questions I think come up around coaching, not only for maybe the public, but I think also as coaches, people go, well, what is it? What am I actually doing? About your intro, I think the thing that really comes up for me is that a lot of people that I think that there's a certain amount of vulnerability reaching out, whether it be for a personal coach or a business coach, because are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just listening to you.
Okay. My screen froze a little bit. One of the things that people are reaching out for coaching is...
Yeah, mine did too.
Okay. Yeah, people are, there's a certain amount of vulnerability. Like, people, I think, inherently know they need coaching, but you really got to want it. You really got to want to get outside your comfort zone, want to play bigger, really committed to improving your business and not being afraid to ask for help. And I think that's the biggest thing is that here's what business coaching isn't. It's not that there's anything wrong with you, and this is any kind of coaching for that matter. It's not that there's anything wrong with you. It's not that you need help, I guess, or maybe you do, but it's really a willingness and a commitment to be at your very, very best. So, I think for many people, just kind of getting over the hurdle that there's nothing wrong with asking for help. There's nothing wrong with getting support. And it looks like we're having some technical challenges.
Yeah, actually, I think, can you see me now? Did you see the screen?
I can see you now.
Okay. Did you see the screen when I had it up? I had the screen up.
I did,
okay.
But ran into a little bit of... There we go.
Okay. Now we're back, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're watching us, we want you to know as business coaches that imperfect action is way more important than no action at all. And really, we're here doing these. We're both really awesome coaches, and we're fairly good at technology. But the Hangout has been kind of a learning curve for us, and so the reality is that it sort of kind of sometimes flows, and it sort of kind of sometimes doesn't on the technical end. So it's a great example of one of the things that I work with my clients on as a business coach is imperfect action. Like, so many people would be so afraid to do what we're doing today because what if there's a techie glitch, or what if it doesn't work, or what if they can't hear us, or what if? And Greg and I are just like, oh well, let's just go for it. And if you're watching, this is a great example of something we help our clients to do. Just do it. What's the worst that can happen? Someone on the other end will go, oh my gosh, I've had that same problem, or I'm good for them for getting it out there even if they're having techie problems. It's okay. Imperfect action. Just move forward. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I know I interrupted you, but were you able to see the screen when it was up?
I did. It came up, and then there was some glitches. I keep freezing. I don't know what's going on. Like even in the lower icon where I can see myself, it's freezing. And I'm also noticing. Am I on your screen when we're talking right now?
You were, and then it switched, and now it's back. It's almost going in and out for you.
Mm-hmm. So, one of the things I learned, if you have, check your setting. If there's a blue rim around your name, Deborah, click it again.
Yep, I'm good. No, now I see you, and you're talking fine.
Got it. So, anyways, I think with both of us, we're both very interested in the technology, and I'm super excited about Hangouts. And there's just stuff outside our control in terms of technical challenges and difficulties. So we can only do the best we can within the scope of the technology. But let's kind of get in and talk about what business coaching really is. And as I was sharing with you beforehand, Deborah, there's a lot of people. Coaching's been around for a while now.
Uh-oh. Greg, you have
privileged association and certifications. Oh.
You are freezing up, my friend. I don't know what's going on. We're, sort of, kind of, not really. This didn't happen the last few times. You keep freezing up, and so it's only like every third word. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah. But you're freezing. Okay. You're kind of going in and out on my screen as well.
Yeah, so are you. Maybe it's the Santa Ana winds.
Maybe. I can only hope that the recording is better than what's going on, but who knows?
Who knows? Whatever. I'm wondering, though, if I should, even though I made all these really nice slides, I'm wondering if we should not keep jumping to the screen share, because that was what started the freezing.
There is something to be said with that. I did one of those where I tried to bring up some PowerPoint or some, presentation, and it definitely is a learning curve with that as well, and ran into some challenges. So we may want to hold off on that.
Okay, let's hold off on that, and let's just keep talking. I know what the outline was, and you were talking about the certification of business coaches, or the certification.
Well, yeah, definitions and certifications, and there's certainly been a lot of thought around what is coaching, and what is personal coaching, life coaching, business coaching, executive coaching, and there's a lot of definitions flying around out there. And I just am going to speak from my own personal experience about coaching and what I've seen. Not to say that those definitions are right or wrong, and not to say what I'm going to share is right or wrong, but just really based on my experience. I've been in this inquiry, in the industry for 20 years, but I've also been in the inquiry of what coaching is. And, as I look at business coaching is really having a business partner who doesn't take a piece of the action.
That is such a great description.
If there's on the business without giving, a big piece of the business away. You're just basically paying a coaching fee. And the coach's role is really primary role anyways, is to focus on growing or improving and in business, that's in most cases is about profitability or increasing profits. So, that's really the primary focus of business coaching. And then there's all kinds of variations in coaching that I've seen along the way. There's some business coaches that won't even talk about personal stuff. And I've actually, I just had a client hire me. He's been working with a business coach for 3 years, and it's a new client, Deborah, that just came on this week. And he had exhausted everything he could do with that business coach because it was just so business. It was the same questions over and over again, and there wasn't really a holistic approach or didn't really deal with the person or the individual as well. And so, they really are started reaching out and saying, okay, there's got to be more than just asking me, what's my quota, what are the sales, and really the dry and the hard stuff of business. So, business coaching can hold, a really wide bandwidth. I think, and you and I have talked about this, I know your focus is more on the inner game of business, and myself included, but a business coach, I think, really can hold both a wider bandwidth, and that is, what's the hard skills of business, in terms of marketing, and I know you're an expert in marketing, but, even looking at P&Ls and the finances, and really encouraging the owner to run a weekly business meeting, to do planning, to do goal setting, to do accountability, to look at where business is coming from and where are trends. Most business coaches, when they start with a client, will do some sort of what's called a SWOT analysis, and the SWOT analysis stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And that SWOT analysis is only done within the context of what the client is actually trying to achieve or their outcomes. And so strengths in relationship to their desired outcome with the business, weaknesses within the context of their desired outcome of the business, opportunities within the context of the business and the economic environment or political environment or whatever that the case may be, and then threats. What are the possible threats to achieving or exceeding the goal or the plan? So anyways, those are just some kind of opening thoughts around business coaching. Anything you'd like to add?
Well, you touched on something that I'd like to go back to. You gave the example of, first of all, that was a great overview. And I think that for people who are already business owners, especially people who have a business that maybe isn't a solopreneur business, but actually has a team, has employees, what you just talked about is nail on the head, so much so. You brought up something about your new client, the one who had worked with a business coach for 3 years and kept going over the same things, and clearly, if they were seeking you out, were not getting everything that they needed. And I'd like to speak to that for a moment. You talked about the holding space for your business, and I like to call it the bookends of your business. So on the one end is everything you just spoke about, and on the other end is the inner game, right? Which is what I work on very much, and the marketing, but we'll get back to that. That person who came to you was somebody who, I get it. I get the structure, I get the skills, I get the businessy stuff, I get the communication flow, I get the management stuff, I get my inventory stuff, whatever he or she needs in their business, and yet they were still unsatisfied. And here's a place, I believe, where you, Greg, and I very much so do something very different than someone who puts themselves out there as an executive coach or purely as a business coach. And that is that we come from a very strong background and a very strong belief that how you do anything is sort of how you do everything, and if you don't take a look at yourself within the whole structure of you in your business, you in situ, in the environment, you could be stuck for a really long time, even if you've got all those typical executive coach, MBA school business coach stuff in order. I mean, I had a client I worked with yesterday who has been studying marketing. He's an internet marketer. He helps other people market direct sales products, things of that nature. He is awesome in skills. He got it. He knows it. He can teach it. And yet he's not having results in his business, and he hasn't been having results in his business for many years. And one of the questions I asked him yesterday, I said, who are you? Who is the person that you're bringing to your business? Why will somebody, a potential prospect, a potential client, a potential customer, choose you when what you sell, there's thousands of people selling what you sell. Why would they choose you? And we got into an entire discussion over the authentic self in business, and the need, especially I think now, I think 21st century business is very different than 20th century business. I think that people diving into their core values, their virtues, their authentic message, who they are within their heart and in their very being, that they bring to their business, that they bring to their team and their customers and their clients and their prospects, is a huge part of business today. I don't think you can just fake it anymore. You know, you can't just have the persona, the external part. You've got to have the entirety. And I bet you can't see me anymore, right? There we go.
I can see you.
Okay, I will also tell our viewers that the garbage truck just showed up outside, so excuse the noise for a moment.
All right.
But the inner part of business, let's talk about that a little bit, or what you brought up one time when you and I were talking, Greg, which is the personal coaching in the business realm, which both of us do, and why that is so important, and why it's the thing that so many people don't get or don't even realize it is available within the context of business coaching.
Right. Yeah, so you bring up some really good points, and I'll just, for the listener and the people watching, draw some distinctions. Is typically business coaching deals with the what, the how, and the why. Like, you know, what our goals are, our strategy, how we plan on going about that, and the why is why are we doing what we're doing in terms of a business vision that's rooted
You froze again. Are you still there?
in values. He was clear of the what, he was clear of the how, and he was pretty clear of the why. But what he was realizing is that what was in the way for him was how he was showing up, his who. And that's where you and I kind of come into play, and that's really what I call the personal coaching for the business owner. Okay, really looking at who. But as the business coach, as the personal coach for the business owner, you know, we still need to know what are they up to, you know, what do they want, what are the goals of the business, what are their strategies, how do they plan on going about getting from point A to point B, why are they doing what they're doing, to get clear what their visions are, what their core values and principles are, and then looking at what do they think is in the way. So sometimes what might be in the way is lack of resources, lack of certain skills, or you know, lack of cash, or whatever the case may be. But many of them realize that a big part of I think one of the things I'm seeing in business, and you and I think talked about this a little bit earlier, there's three really common challenges of all business owners, and that's where am I going to get more business in terms of lead generation. That's always on their mind from the time they wake up till the time they go to bed. The second big problem or concern is how do I manage the people or my vendors or my team, and so how do I become a better leader is really, or how do I become a better manager. It's one of the main reasons why businesses fail is poor management or lack of management. And then the third thing that is on most business owners' mind is how do I stay more organized and productive? You know, with all the stuff going on with technology and the chaos of personal life and this and that, how do I stay more organized? How do I stay more productive? How do I stay more focused? Where do I put my attention? How can I keep my attention on something long enough so I can actually get some traction on it? So these are some of the concerns and issues that we deal with clients with, and helping them and asking them questions in terms of helping them clarify where do they need to be spending their attention, where do they need to be focusing. And you know, the other big thing is a lot of professionals, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business people, they actually learn by hearing themselves talk. And I know it may sound kind of funny or strange, but true entrepreneurs and professionals, They've got so much stuff going on in their mind, but when they can speak to a coach, someone like yourself or myself, and really be understood or gotten, something clicks for them. And they come up with their own ideas, and they see those ideas as they speak them. But just kind of left in their own head and their own mind, it just becomes more overwhelmed.
Yes.
So really, as a business coach, we help invite them to tease those things out. And some of the best business coaching sessions are where the coach says absolutely nothing.
Right, and I'm going to have to interject here because one of the, as you're speaking that, I'm smiling because one of the ways that I will describe myself to a potential client in my, I do a complimentary consultation to see, what their needs are and if it's a good fit, etc. One of the ways that I'll describe myself to that client is I will say, I am a mirror so that you can see yourself better. And like the whole conversation just stops and like, ooh, that's cool. How does that work? And it works exactly the way you just described, Greg, is that not only business people, many people need to talk it out to hear what they're saying, but even in that talking, if someone on the other end, and this is what coaches are uniquely skilled to do, is a really awesome listener who can hear what that person is saying, kind of package it up a little bit, reflect it back, and say, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I heard you say. And they go, yeah, that's kind of what I said. I think that's what I said. That's sort of what I said. It really helps them move forward and formulate their own ideas and, start to get some clarity out of all that noise. The other thing that you didn't bring up yet, though I know you were probably moving there, is in addition to all those other pieces, there's this other level, right? All of us, you are heavily into meditation. I meditate. If you look at some of the thought leaders in entrepreneurship, meditation is on the very top of the list. Why is that? People have a lot of chatter. And part of that chatter is fears. Part of that chatter is doubts. Part of that chatter is that kind of, am I worthy? Am I good enough? Is this good enough? Do I know what I'm doing? You even hear that from people who are 6, 7-figure earners. Am I good enough? Am I doing it right? Do people really believe in me? And part of our role as a personal coach for business people in that realm is to work on that, that inner self, that inner belief system, the doubts, the old stories that get in people's way no matter how successful they look on the outside. And again, that's a piece that I think you and I do extremely well because our backgrounds are very diverse in what we bring to our clients. We bring in the business, very businessy business piece, and we bring in the very inner self piece. And I think that a lot of times people can have business coaching for years and they're still not happy, they're still not joyful, they're still not feeling productive every day. And at that point, it has nothing to do with external and everything to do with their own inner chatter and their own belief system and their own stories. And that's something else that you and I do as coaches and other people who work like we do as coaches. And I say it kind of rides the line a little bit between therapy and coaching. And having been a therapist, I make sure I don't cross that line. But it does ride that line because it's what's in here and what's in here. It's not what you're doing.
Got it. So I think whether it's coaching or therapy, in both cases, the goal is to get the client to tell the truth. Just get them to tell the truth about what they want, what their business is, what their goals are, how they want their lifestyle to be. And really the coach's job is really unique, is that the people in our lives will only support us to their own comfort level, if you will.
Yes.
And what happens is the coach is unbiased and has really no agenda, if you will. And so our job is just to draw out the truth of the client and then support them in whatever that is. And that's really liberating and very freeing for the individual. So that's one of the things that came up. And then the other thing is that I want to share this with anybody that might listen. Is some people are, again, confused of why they would come to coaching, and I want to give them some perspective on different entry points. Particularly in business, a lot of what brings people to coaching is they want results, or they want increased results or performance. And that is one very specific type of coaching. It's very result-based. And that's what a lot of traditional business coaching is. It's all result and performance-based. And that's typically what I call the entry point into a lot of coaching. It's kind of the lowest rung from my point of view. Not good or bad, but it's the entry point, result-based or performance-based coaching. And then the next level of coaching is what I would call resolution-based coaching. And typically the reason that people are having the results or the lack of results is that something needs resolving or something needs to be improved, okay? And so resolution-based coaching is what I call, everybody's kind of got their own challenges or whatever it is, so the coach helps them resolve a lot of those, what I call unfinished business, or patience, as we've talked in our other videos, but making a resolve of things. The third type or stage of coaching is reorientation-based coaching. And a lot of business owners just kind of got thrown into coaching, and they never really looked at what their values or their core principles are. And so the third stage of reorientation is really helping them find the deepest truth of their core values or their core principles, and having the courage to build their business based on that. The third type of, or the fourth type of coaching is what I call relational-based coaching, and this is a progression. This is not a relationship with your significant other, or your kids, or your business partner. It's engaging the coach because the value of the relationship is so rich of what's going on here that the person's business and life gets better as a result of it. Generally, people don't come up and sign up for relational-based coaching with their business coach or executive coach because they have not experienced that. It's something that evolves. It's something that matures through the coaching process. I have coaching clients that have been with me 17 years, Deborah, and it's very much, it covers all of these. You know, there's results, yes. There's resolution, there's reorientation, and there's the relational. And then the fifth type of coaching, or the entry point that people can access us, is what I call revelational-based coaching. Another way to say that is just wisdom-based coaching. It's helping them go back in and look within, look at that mirror within themselves, and to tap into their own inner wisdom, and to start running their business based on wisdom, not based on reactions or fear or all of these other things. So I want to give kind of the listener that a little bit more perspective, like coaching is not just about results. That's only one aspect of what we can kind of bring to the table.
Right, right. Or certainly not the kind of results that people think of when they hear that word. It's about shift. Maybe it's more about shift. And you mentioned truth about 10 minutes ago. Mm-hmm. I think it's a really skilled coach will not let people lie to themselves, right? And a really skilled coach will help people stop tripping themselves up, stop getting in their own way, because even in a coaching session, especially in the early sessions, people will say things to me that they've been saying for years and years and years as to why they can't do this or why they can't do that or why this particular action step is not working. And it's my job as a coach to challenge them on that. Is that real? Is that made up? Is that a story? Is that something you've been telling yourself because XYZ? You know what I'd like to go to, Greg, because we're coming to the end of our time here. I'd like to ask you, well, I'm going to share, and then I'd like to ask you to share. So I'm going to share one question that I always ask all my clients at the beginning of our coaching together. And it's a really powerful question. I come back to it. I use it as a metric maybe as we move forward. And maybe you have a question like that as well. But when I'm first meeting with someone, I'll ask them a really interesting question. And it goes like this. If our time together was complete, whether that's 3 weeks, 6 months, a year, whatever it is, if our time together was complete, how would things be different for you than they are now? How would you feel different? How would you act different? How would your business be different? You know, for different clients, you know, those little segments will change. But jump into the future. Assume we've completed all our work together. How would things be different for you?
Mm-hmm.
And it gets people thinking like what it's really all about for them. Or the other similar question is, if you had a magic wand right now and you could change anything, you know, in your business scenario or in yourself, what would that be? It's a similar question from a different perspective. So do you have a similar question to that?
I do. It's more of an inquiry. I always tell my clients the questions I give, there are no right answers, but it's really them in the inquiry of how do you want your business to be? How do you want it to be? And not like, and so, you know, what you referred to earlier, and this is what a really good coach does, is help distinguish from problems, from distinguish the past from the present, from the future. So, you know, as coaches, we have a lot of distinctions that we're sharing, and we listen and we share those distinctions. So when I ask the client, you know, tell me how you want your business to be, or tell me how you want your life to be, what I'm also listening, and I'm inviting them into a conversation of, like you said, in the future, how you want it to be. I don't want to hear about your problems. I don't want to hear about the story. I want to give you permission to kind of experience how you want it to be, all right? And to separate all that other stuff out. And then, you know, once we kind of tease that out, it's like, tell me the way it is, okay? So in coaching, we call that gapping. So how you want it to be, and then let's get really clear the way it is. And in coaching, what we say is no gap, no need for a coach, okay? If there's no gap, there's no need for a coach. So really the job of a coach is to really see is there a gap between how they want their business or their life to be versus the way it is. And then the third question I invite them into is, tell me what you think is in the way. So that's really 3 questions. I know you asked for 1, but it's kind of a 3-question process of engaging them in that opening dialogue of assessing where they are and where they want to be.
No, that's great, and I use the similar questions as well. I call it the island of here and now and the island of full potential. And we talk about living on each of those islands, and then how are you going to get what's in the way of getting from the island of here and now to the island of full potential. And that's really where the coach's work is. It's the gap, right? It's the water between the islands. Okay, so before we wrap up, since we didn't introduce ourselves at the beginning, Greg, would you like to tell our viewers where they can find you if they'd like to have a discussion with you?
Great, awesome. Well, I live in San Diego. I'm the San Diego business coach guy, although my clients are international. You can find me at www.gregclowminzer.com. I'm running into technical difficulties here.
Where did Greg go? Where did Greg go? I see Greg's face. Guess it's good we're coming to the end. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Greg seems to have, but gregclowminzer.com is where you can find Greg, and I am Deborah Tutnauer, and you can find me at deborah.tutnauer.com, and both of us do offer complimentary consultations. You can certainly reach out to us here on Google Plus if you're watching live or in the recording, and we both look forward to working with you or hearing from you or certainly answering any of your questions as we go forward into the future. Thanks for being here. Sorry for the techie difficulties today. We'll work on that for next time. Remember what I said, imperfect action.